This string right here is what's returning. So returns string. One thing that is not, he's not wrong for doing this because he did exactly what the warm-up said, but generally speaking, you're going to want to make another string, let's just call it out to match what he did here, because you don't really want an expression as a return. Not always, unless it's like super, super basic, but it's better to kind of have it where it's not bogging down what the return is all about. So you can say it's returned out and like what is out, and then you can kind of look at it there, rather than having like a big, huge, long thing at the return. Just throwing that out there. I mean, this is a basic one, so it kind of makes sense to do it that way, but just kind of like code etiquette, I guess you can kind of think of it that way. Here, he's printing out this cut, and if you notice, because there's a return statement, because it's returning something, that's what it's going to print. It's going to print after you run what I just highlighted. And if you run this part right here, just the part that I highlighted right here, I'm going to actually make a comment on this. So this is equal to the, do this. Like that. So then it's going to print out essentially what that is. That's why it's going to print out just the ELL instead of the, and it's going to be missing the H and the O for that. Okay. So you could have, I mean, he technically could have done it this way too. String out, printing it. What he had was not wrong at all. I'm just trying to show other ways of looking at this. He made it a static method, which is good because you don't really need an object on this. If you wanted to, you could, but you do not need to make an object for it. So that's why it says public static. Remember, static means it's not changing. There's not all these other objects that have their own characteristics and methods. It's just strictly a static thing that's not changing. Hence the word static. And then right here, he's using the substring method here on in. So in is a string right here. So whatever this in was, it's going to be used here. So it's the input into the function and used down here. Substring, you're taking the index one, I should say, the first index character, which in this case is going to be the E, and you're printing that substring to the very end of the length -1 from it. So you're not including that last one, essentially. Okay. And also you have to remember that silly rule where you don't actually go to the very end for this. It would stop just before it. So that's why it's -1 and not -2. Let's run this. Hopefully I didn't mess it up too much. All right. And then ELL.